Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable. Hello, my playmates for the soul. Well, here we are with another episode of Joy Rules, and I say it every week. I do an intention statement. It's an intention technique that I use, and it's creating the results that I want to have happen. And so one of the things that I always put there is I had a ball being me. I was guided what to say because I get so excited about this. I think it's anxiety, but it's really excitement of I have so much I want to share. And now that I know that my jam is joy and my job is joy, which I never knew until like 18 months ago, I'm so grateful. And that's not something that's not doable. Because it's essentially loving the essence of who we are and living life from that place. And I'm going to bring on my luminous guest in a moment, who has just had a birthday. But first, I want to share three important points in terms of the current cosmic weather. And so yesterday was a big day, your birthday, Bob, April 9th, because that was the day that Mars left Pisces. Mars, the planet of action, completed his 2-year cycle and cycled into Aries. This is for everybody. This has nothing to do with whether you're in Aries or not. Mars completing his cycle and going into Aries with all these other Aries planets. If there were ever a time, any of you that are watching this, listening to this, to bet on yourself, to really tune into that impulse that comes from you, that you know that you don't have a clue. Aries doesn't have a clue. Aries is just brave enough to go. It's like lead follower, get out of my way. And it's Star Trek energy. It's dare to go where you've never been before. I know many of you are feeling, myself included, that there's something rising in you. There's something getting ready to be born. It's some new version of you getting ready to come online. You may know some of what it is because you've healed some old patterns. You may not have a clue, but you know that something is getting ready to be birthed. And that's really exciting. And you don't have to have the answers. So here we are now with Mars in Aries, all the planets direct until May 6th. So if there were ever a time, that project, that relationship, that conversation, whatever it is, do it. I mean, it's like that whole just do it. Whoever created the Nike slogan, in my opinion, must have had prominent Aries energy. So again, we have all the planets direct, Mars in Aries. However, we're in a last quarter moon because the Aries new moon is April 17th. And even though any of you Aries who have already had your birthday, your year will really begin on April 17th when the moon is new in Aries. And I'm launching my YouTube channel on April 18th to take advantage of all this energy. So with that said, I want to bring on my guest in the nest, my friend, someone I've known for years. We don't see each other often, but every time we do, there's this magical connection of recognition of soul to soul, which I'm so grateful for. So welcome, Bob. We've been many iterations together.
Oh yeah, I think we met at B98.5 FM back in the 1990s.
I was trying to remember. I didn't know if it was Joey, and then I thought it had to be something creative.
Yeah.
So, in reconnecting with you, and of course, you know more than enough astrology to be dangerous. I'm always taken with the joy that I feel when we connect.
Mm.
I mean, you knew it before I did, and you've been, quote, practicing joy, embodying joy. I mean, I guess I always have, but I just didn't know it. Now I know it, and now, but when I connect with you, that creative part of me comes out. It's sort of like, and then I thought, okay, I want to look at our relationship, because the relationship is the third entity. You have a chart, I have a chart, Zoe has a chart, and then there's the midpoint of the two charts. So you and I are a Cancer sun. I have Cancer suns with most of my Aries, which
Mm.
is a safety, a safety and a vulnerability. And I think we've always done that. And our moon is Leo, and which is the play and the joy.
Yeah.
So the humor, I love your humor is sometimes it's in your face, but a lot of times it's understated and they're equally funny. Um, so when you've said a number of times on our connection call, and this is what I love about doing that call, because out of that I create the episode and I come up with something that's important to you. And when you said more than once, I feel like like I just woke up, and I'm in heaven. So let's jump off there.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, you know, joy is, to me, genuine joy is a product of peace.
Mm,
And peace is a product of no attachment. And,
mm.
what steals our joy is the anxiety that keeps us trying to hold on to things, control things, stop things. I call it interfering with the universe. So whatever happens to us, is an opportunity to become aware of whatever attachments we're carrying, because attachments cause misery. In Buddhism, I think the Four Noble Truths are: suffering exists, the cause of suffering is attachment, there's a way out of suffering, and the way out of suffering is the way out of attachment.
Yes, totally.
And so, it's just whether you're getting what you want. Like one of the things I share sometimes is the only thing more challenging than not getting what you want is getting what you want. Right? Because that's when all the attachments come up, and I want more, and I gotta, no matter, you think, oh, if I have $1 million, I'll be happy. Then you get $1 million, like, but I need another million in the pipeline, and so the attachment keeps us from being happy. And then, like from a different angle, the belief that you have to put happiness off in order to be responsible.
Hmm.
That's a big problem, because people don't believe in joy. They believe you have to suffer
Yeah.
and be miserable, and you got to kill yourself to survive, or you got
And
to
work hard and
find this. Yeah, yeah. You stress, ignore your feelings, just keep pushing, watch out, be fearful. Um, so that's another big piece of it, is recognizing that belief and having the courage, the willingness to let that belief go, and that you have to work that way. And then the third element is, it's really easy to say, be happy, don't worry. But we have some really deep rooted programs inside of us of feelings of inferiority, feelings of inadequacy, feelings of pressure to be more than we are, fear, unhappiness. So until I found the method, which is what I call the process that I use, the method to release myself, once I understood, okay, peace is the way to be
Mhm.
joyful. Joyful is the way to true success in life. It lets everything work out perfectly. But I couldn't get there. So how did I get there? With the method, you relieve yourself of your emotional suffering. You don't bypass it. You go into it to let go of the attachment to the emotional state that we could call emotional suffering, to whatever degree.
Mhm.
So when you have those three, you have the awareness, let go of the idea that you have to work hard, the awareness that let go of your attachments. Nothing is more important than that you feel good in the now. And then you have a way to get into peace, to get out of the attachment, to get out of the fear. That's really the nuts and bolts of what I present and what I live and what's changed my life.
And I
So,
want to I want to ask you about to put that in a nutshell, the process. But what I want to say first, I just want to affirm, validate when you talk about peace, that's your mandate astrologically because you came in with Saturn in Libra. next to a Libra moon.
Mm.
So that's taking relationships. I mean, we know all that, you and I've talked about relationships for decades, but the point being, you must feel, I would imagine you feel so on purpose in your, I mean, I know you've always been a teacher, you've always been a seeker, but especially now with the method, because being that astrologically you chose to come in with this wiring of not only a moon in Libra, but Saturn being the mandate, part of the contract along with Jupiter. It just excites me when I hear you talk about the method. So like, we only have a short amount of time, but just give us some of the nuts and bolts of, if you were to distill it down.
It's a feeling process. And what the method gave to me, aside from the joy of living in peace and harmony and abundance and
And
success.
waking up in
I
heaven.
mean, waking up in heaven every morning, you know, that's a nice slogan too, right? Waking up in heaven every morning. Um, it it's like it's a healing. And it gave me the ability when I connect with someone within 10 minutes to give them an experience of bliss, of freedom. That's not bypassing, it's not suppression, it's not avoidance, and it's not denial. It's liberation. And it's very quick. And for most people, it happens very, very quickly. Maybe 90% of people, it takes like 10 minutes. Sometimes, once you get the hang of it, because it's something we have to master, you can do it in a minute to relieve
Mhm.
yourself of anxiety. It's tremendously effective. So, it's a feeling process. It's a feeling exercise that I guide people through. There's an audio program of it on number of programs of it on YouTube. There's written steps. I used to like the written steps better than listening to someone guide me because I could guide myself through each step. And it's
Mhm.
just a number of feeling exercises that just starts with the basic mindfulness practice of feeling your feelings fully, feeling your pain, opening up to feeling your feelings because your feelings are your connection to the infinite intelligence of the universe,
Yes.
right? So there's an infinite number of levels of intelligence. I can go over to someone who's not very bright, and I can say, how do you think I should live my life? And they'll say, oh, you just do what you're told. I could go to someone else, maybe they've got a little bit of a brightness. How do you think I should live my life? Well, why don't you study philosophy? Maybe that'll give you an answer. And I can go to person after person or being after being or level after level, and there's no limit to how high the level of intelligence you can connect with to guide you in any given moment of how to live right now.
Hmm.
That's the key. It's
Hmm.
connecting to higher intelligence within you. All the emotions, they come from a very low state of intelligence because they're not functional, they're not helpful. You can say, well, it'll help me run away from a bear. Yeah, but it won't help you run away from your mate. So, because you feel trapped in the relationship, right? So, however you react in a situation in any given moment is what you're doing to yourself, right?
Totally.
No situation is making you react. It's what you're
Right.
doing to yourself. And when you go into stress or fear or anxiety or frustration or unhappiness, you're hurting yourself. You're hurting your body.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
talked about my birthday. One of the things, that in one sense, it's like it never happened. But but in, but
It's a private joke, folks.
but you see, laughter is good for the soul. But in another sense, what I've been contemplating, I don't remember ever going through this before, is really appreciating the spacesuit, like appreciating my parents for giving me this ability, this physiological, because I'm not my body, but I'm able to function in this dimension through the frequencies that my body is able to pick up.
Totally.
Me an opportunity to go into this dimension. So I feel kind of like an astronaut, in a spacesuit on the planet Earth for a
How
while.
Aries of you.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Really, really, I've just been feeling that sense of appreciation for the experience. Many times in my life, I did not want to be here. But now it's like this is pretty groovy. It's kind of a cool experience, to have this dimension of light.
I'd love to. This just came to me. This was not something I don't really. really don't plan. I kind of make some notes, but since you know more than enough to be dangerous, how have you navigated in your life the balance, because you're born at a full moon, um, between your Aries nature, all the Aries energy that you have, and the Libra nature, because Aries is about the self and Libra is about relationships. So I think your insight would be really helpful to people that have those energies, which many people do. And every full moon basically is bringing up that paradox.
Well, that was a huge, huge life challenge because on the one hand, I craved independence, and then I would get extremely insecure when the relationship wasn't there. So it was learning how to recognize, number one, when I need my space, right? When my mate needs her space, and learning how to use the method to work through the anxieties that would come
Mm.
when I didn't feel that sense of connection to my mate. I felt, abandoned. So I would go through a sense of abandonment and insecurity and anxiety. And that really caused a tremendous amount of suffering in my life, the deepest. And then when I had the method now, if I would feel insecure or anxious, just do the method, get back into my bliss and focus on
Yeah.
what's the right thing for me to do right now. How do I have this beautiful time while she's away?
But it is interesting what you said, the words that you used about abandonment, because, and you and I share this, your Cancer rising. And Cancer is all of those things. And we talked about this on the connection call. You have all three water signs in your chart. So
Mhm.
it makes total sense that a major part of what you share would be about emotions and feelings, just because you're wired with that.
Well, it's been
Um,
my own initiation. I mean, that's the biggest process. Life from my perspective, I've been working with people for about half a century now, full time in this work.
yeah,
From my perception, life leads us, maybe it's our subconscious, maybe it's our soul, maybe it's our higher self, maybe it's the universe, leads us into wherever our weakest point is.
yes.
Have to confront that over and over and over again until it's completely dissolved. So like it used to be like, oh God, I'm not in a relationship. I better get in a relationship. I got in a relationship and then the relationship would end. I keep having to go back and facing that fear, having to go
Hmm.
back to that. Now I'm at a stage and what I teach is to appreciate your challenges.
Yeah,
He says that's the way you attain liberation. You get to see, where am I attached? Where am I making this experience, unpleasant for myself? So I can release myself into peace in the context of a situation that I used to freak out in.
yeah,
That's history. And life is always going to go up and down, like you have the waves in the background behind you, the ocean waves. It's always going to go up and down. So you're going to get what you want, you lose what you want, you get what you want, you lose what you want. It just goes on and on. But as you develop your stability, your internal stability, while it goes up and down, it turns into a kind of a spiral. So it goes up and down, up and down. It goes higher and higher, up and down.
hmm,
So your lowest low is higher than your highest high ever was. So I can go through experiences now that used to shatter me. And it's like fun. It's nothing. It doesn't even exist. All problems are in the mind. They're
yes,
all made up. They're all imaginary. You got to think of a problem to have a problem.
yeah.
Don't hold on to your problems. Let them go. Let the joy flow. Watch how wonderful everything turns out.
Let the joy flow. That's good, Bob.
Let your problems go.
So
Let them
let me
go.
ask you. We have about 6 or 7 minutes left. Can you do something in a couple minutes with everyone? Some sort of centering or some?
We could do the method.
Okay,
We could do the method.
let's do
So,
that.
okay, so I'll do it with you.
Okay,
Okay, so close your eyes and feel your feelings.
okay,
Feel. Just feel. Don't try to control your feelings. Invite whatever is in there to come up. And the more you feel, the more you heal. And we'll do it briefly. We can spend a good amount of time going deep into it, but just feel it. And maybe go back, to like a previous time when you felt a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of unhappiness. Let that come up. Because this is how we liberate you. The method liberates us from trauma. And just feel it a little bit, feel it a little while. Breathe into it, feel it now. And I want you to stay with me every step. It's going to take some discipline. Now, just concentrate on feeling love for yourself. Just make that your number one concentration. As you breathe in, feel like you're breathing your love into yourself. Just do the best you can with it. These are muscles. You can't fail. You just got to make the effort, unstrained effort. Just try to feel love for yourself at the deepest level. Maybe get in touch with love you feel for anybody, the deepest love you ever had. Send that love inward, selfward for a little bit. Feel your love for yourself to the best of your ability. Now imagine an empty space opening up inside of you and feel that empty space expanding infinitely. Now imagine on a feeling level, divine energy filling that space. Divine energy in this context, whatever you imagine it to be. Feel the infinite divine power of love, the divine energy just spreading out, filling that infinite space. Now feel divine energy filling the whole universe. It's all God. Just rest with God for a moment. Now we shift. I want you to feel towards yourself that you are sacred and precious. Again, just do the best you can. That you are a sacred, precious gift. That's how you're relating to yourself. On a feeling level, exercise the feelings of feeling that you are sacred, precious, divine, holy gift to yourself. That you are a sacred gift and that you're going to treat yourself as a sacred gift. Now, think about what it is that you love to do, where you get your inspiration from, your joy from. What you love to do is where your talents and gifts are. Think about doing what you love and loving how it's going and tune into that feeling of inspiration and love when you're doing what you love. Now, feel like you're sending love to everyone in the world, including the people who are the hardest to love, the cruel, the people who are being treated cruel, the corrupt, the people who are being treated unjustly. Everybody from the palaces to the prisons to the streets to the penthouses, just send your love to everyone. You can't fully love yourself until you send love to everyone. Just feel love going to everyone, trusting that your love makes everybody better. Now, relax into a feeling of unlimited abundance. Feel what it feels like to be totally financially free, because that's what abundance is. It's freedom from care about money at all. Feel like there's no money limits. The moment you were born, God gave you the whole universe. What more could you want than infinity? It's all yours. You already have it all, unless you hold on to the belief that you don't. Let go of that belief now. Just experience the feeling of having it all, being totally financially free. And then finally, just feel that you can trust the universe. Let go of control. Take your hands off the steering wheel of life. Relax. The universe is divine love. Doesn't matter what you hear on the media. People ask me, am I a Republican? Am I a Democrat? I tell them I'm a cosmocrat. I live in the cosmos, and the laws of the cosmos rule. And the law of the cosmos is divine love is in charge of everything. Just trust the universe as you take a nice deep breath. When your lungs are filled, hold it for 3 seconds. And when you exhale, feel like you're totally letting go.
That was amazing,
It's
Bob.
quickie.
That I know we did it years ago. That was
I shared it with you
amazing.
when I first got it. I was over the moon when I first got it.
And I encourage you, whoever's watching, when you listen and watch this, do that for yourself and go to Bob's website. Your website is
Lovethemethod.com.
lovethemethod.com.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just let that bliss flow. Don't step out of it. That's your true self. You're in touch with reality now.
I get it. I I mean I
And share
because
it,
I was
use it.
in
I
it.
don't license it. I don't hold it back. I don't, to just use it, share it, do it. I do it with my 17-year-old. I do it it's everybody's. When it was given to me, it was given to me to give to the world.
Yes.
I'm not holding it back in any way, shape, or form.
Well, because I found myself, I was in it. I was doing what you were saying, but there was a witness part of me going, "Oh my God, I so feel his Venus in Pisces. I so feel his." I mean, I couldn't help it. It was like, and it brought me joy. It was like that because Pisces is this unconditional oneness and compassion and forgiveness, and that's where your
Far as I'm
Venus is.
concerned, the method is the missing key to the law of attraction. Because when you're kicked out of the vortex, it's how to get in. And when you do it enough, I call it the wisdom of joy, how to live in the vortex, how to live in that state. When you get kicked out, it's inevitable you will at times. Do the method and you're back in. Sometimes you can go through tremendous panic attacks. You may have to go through the method several times,
Mhm.
but eventually you'll be out. You know, I'm back. I'm free. It feels so good to be free.
Well, I mean, and because as I said, I was in it, but I was witnessing it and sort of commenting on it with myself at the same time. And I was thinking, this feels so Course in Miracles to me
Mm.
because it's really, I mean, what I remembered was the true oneness with the divine and the essence of who I really am, and all that other shit stuff that I've just covered up with crap.
Well, it's the way, to me, it's the key to living the wisdom teachings that we learn.
Yeah.
It's how to actually live in a miraculous life. When you vibrate to the bliss that comes from the method, and then you develop your consciousness to maintain that through daily life, all miracles happen, grace descends, and your whole life is lifted up by heavenly grace, not by effort. And all your dreams start to come true, not from hard work, but in a simple, easy, fun way.
Well, and the whole personal part of it, but then the connection with loving everyone in the universe, like oneself, because we're all one. I mean, it's all the whole process is magical, but that's like the magical sort of icing on the
Absolutely,
cake.
that's the core, the
I
oneness.
love you, my friend. I can't wait to play more, and I'm thank you for the message of waking up in
My
heaven, man.
birthday's so much fun. I'm going to celebrate it next week too.
There you go. All month, in fact. Blue skies, green lights, lucky stars, everybody. Thank you for listening to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei Robbins, your joy guru. If this episode sparked something in you, don't keep joy to yourself. Share and spread the light. Tune in the second and fourth Friday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Transformation Talk, where together we reclaim joy as the foundation for transformation. To dive deeper, visit me at joyrules.com. And remember, joy isn't optional, it's essential. And visit joyrules.com for lots more joy. Until next time, keep choosing joy and join the joy revolution. And until we connect, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.